Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shruti Smruti Purananam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Bhakto Vinirgatam Vishwam Mayyeva Layameshyati Mrudhi Kumbho Jale Vichihi Kanake Katakan Yatha. I was saying, I was quoting a Mahatma's suggestion that as long as you believe that you come into a world and then get out of the world, that is what is called birth and death. As long as you believe that, people want to believe that. And they say, they talk of a model called transmigration of the soul, etc. Which is there in the literature. I am not saying it is not there. And the religions are categorized based on that principle of transmigration. Like Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, they admit transmigration, whereas Christianity, Islam, Judaism, they do not admit transmigration. Like that they say. That is only partially correct. Because Christians also, when you follow a particular method of worshipping God and all that, prayers mainly, there is no other worship in Christianity, mainly prayers. And so the ritual part is entirely prayer. Other than prayer, the ritual is very insignificant. That is Christianity. And so by making all those prayers, every Sunday prayer, this and that, you will go to heaven. You will go to heaven means the soul transmigrates to heaven ityartha. The soul doesn't end here, only the body ends. The Holy Ghost gives up the body, or the body gives up the Holy Ghost, whatever you call it. Holy Ghost is the soul, another name for the soul, and it goes to heaven. So, in part, they do admit transmigration, in part. Even the Abrahamic faiths, all the Abrahamic faiths admit. Only they don't talk of the earlier birth. That is a bit odd. When there is the next birth, you must have the earlier birth also. So, they are not saying anything about that. Is odd. Therefore, they are 50% transmigration thesis wala. Whereas we are 100% transmigration. So that is a religion. You see, any beliefs, any ideas or concepts associated with birth and death, after death, prior to birth, all of these, they come under the domain of religion. They do not come into the domain of philosophy. They are not part of Vedanta. They are mentioned in Vedanta as a passing reference. What is there in Vedanta? You can talk of buses and trains also. Anything can be mentioned as part of Vedanta. Therefore, you have to understand all these beliefs regarding birth and death, etc. They are within the scope of religion. And all religions have their own belief systems about birth and death, pre-birth, after death, etc. All of that comes under the category of a belief system, and they are all religions, and they differ from one to the other. They may agree with one another in certain respects, they differ also. Therefore, there is no point in claiming superiority or whatever, supremacy of one religion over the other. We should not get caught in that kind of a thing. So you identify with one religion and then try to prove superiority of your religion to another religion. That movement of the mind, that movement of consciousness is not within the spirituality. Here You transcend the very religious beliefs. Basically, you are a limited soul with a birth and death. That is the religion. Karta Bhokta. That is the religion. But is that Vedanta? Is that Gita? Is that Upanishad? I suppose not. Then why you carry both of them together? Either you hold on to the one or the other. You cannot carry both of them together, you know. Both are contradictory to each other. In the vision of Vedanta, the soul called Atman, the word Atma is used by everybody. They also use the word Atma, as much as we may use the word soul. But what we mean by that differs. So, every soul is birthless, ajaha, amaraha, deathless, and so immortal it is. That is the Vedanta. Now, on one side you say Atma is immortal, and in the same breath you talk of birth and death. Now, if you are okay with that, God bless you. Who am I to oppose it? If you are okay with it. So, it's a huge contradiction. Okay? Therefore, that Mahatma's statement, one more time, I am just building a case for that statement. Namely, as long as you believe that you come into this world and get out of this world, so long you will not know your true nature. When you understand, you have to understand it. Vedanta is not about some topical issues. So, like my son doesn't follow the systems that I have built, the culture, the tradition, he doesn't follow. As a father, what should I do? That is not Vedanta. That is a topical issue. You do the same thing as every other father who has faced the same situation. And also, every situation is different from every other situation. You know. There are always differences. A friend of mine from Dayton, Ohio, told me, Swamiji, I am not concerned about these marriages. As long as my son marries a girl, I am okay with it. So I said, God bless you. So these are topical issues. And you seek solutions for them in Vedanta, nothing wrong, you can. But then this is the solution. What is the solution? You rise above all of them. That is the solution. So, therefore, in Vedanta, fundamentally that Mahatma was saying, when you understand that this world comes out of you, it comes out of you. When you wake up, I just am explaining how it comes out of you. You have to pay attention to that. Suppose I say you have a rebirth, therefore you believe that you have a rebirth. You are waiting to be told to. That is not education. That is not a study. So that is following. People are followers. They do not think. They have to investigate and they have to inquire. So how the world comes out of you, you have to inquire. And the speaker can only point the finger, that's all. It is all the job of the speaker. I say speaker, I don't give some special name. Because the moment you give a special name, the entire focus is shifted away from the inner inquiry, shifted away from inquiry to the persona or the personage of the speaker. What kind of a profile the speaker has, what kind of malas and dresses and forehead marks he has, what kind of gaddi he occupies, what kind of coterie he has, the sycophants all around. And then the internecine quarrels among them, what is going on in that area. So your focus will be on that. How long you know? 1 decade? No. 2 decades? No. 3 decades? Possible. Or even 4 decades. You don't learn anything. Because you are waiting to be told to, so that you can believe. That is not Vedanta. It is a sad saga of Vedantic teaching that there is an unfortunate mix-up of religious beliefs and Vedantic vision. You have to shift one from the other. Up to you. So I am saying what the Mahatma was saying. When you find out, when you look in and understand that what you call the world springs out from you, it comes out from you. You are the Brahma, you are the Vishnu, you are the Rudra. When the young man said, I love you to a young girl, he is the Brahma. He created a fiancée. And then she becomes a wife. He created that wife thing. First he said, I love you, and then he gets betrothed to her. Is it called betrothed? Yeah.
Proposal.
Yeah, engaged or betrothed to her, and then get married to her, and then start living with her, give birth to a child or two, depending upon various other situations, and then starts becoming neutral towards her, and then starts hating her, and then then divorcing her. He is the Brahma, he is the Brahma.
Is the destroyer.
He is the Brahma. Did you get the point? He is the Brahma. And he is the Vishnu. And he is the Rudra. Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra. This moment, the moment you said this moment, it has gone into the past. It is created, it has gone into the past. And the moment is retained for a momentary period. A moment stays for a moment only. And then it is gone. And then there is a void. And then a new moment is created. In every moment there is Brahma, there is Vishnu, and there is Rudra. And that you are that Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra. So when you are coming out of sleep, you know the Puranas say God was sleeping, Vishnu was sleeping. Where from that story has come? Vishnu was sleeping. He wakes up and thinks of creating and asks Brahmadeva, creates Brahmadeva. He himself could create, you know. He doesn't do that. He creates a middleman, Brahmadeva, and asks him to create. And the Brahmadeva creates. The story came from where? From your own experience it came. Because first you wake up, and then like Vishnu waking up, and then start creating things. Either yourself or you entrust some of it to other people. From your own experience that story came. The story, it reflects your own experience. All these stories are like that. All those meaningful stories, not some silly stories which are added over the period. Therefore, you are getting up now, you are awake. That is, already you have become the Brahma. You are awake. And the first thing you create is I am. Out of that awareness, you create the I amness. That is the first thing that comes out. The primordial instinct of self-existence that comes out. That is the first thing is created. Who created? You created it. You are the pure, undifferentiated awareness, unbounded awareness. Out of yourself you create this first primordial sense of self, namely I am. Then identify that self-existence. I am means self-existence with the existence of the body. With the body, that is enough. With the body. So I am is now identified with the body, and therefore you become I am here and now. In identifying with the body, you create space, and along with it you create time. Space and time, they come together. And then you create the world. This is my house, next comes the house, it all depends. It all depends. Some people wake up, I am, where is coffee? That is some people, that is how they wake up. Some other people, they wake up, I am, and where is the stock market index? That is how they wake up. So touch the key of the laptop, and all the stock market situation is shown. And so now he will know how much he gained or lost during his sleep. That is how he wakes up. Everybody wakes up into his own world. All people do not wake up into the same world. There is no same world. You believe that there is a same world. There is no same world. You have to learn a lot to understand that. There is no same world. A philosopher said, every word description has a signature upon it. So you tell me what is your word, I will show you your signature on it. It is your word. Even wife and husband do not have the same word. They choose to stay together in their different worlds and occasionally overlapping, like two orbits overlap, partly overlapping. Not a complete overlap, partial overlap, by choice. And as long as that overlap is reasonable, they stay together. When the overlap becomes disturbed, and it becomes less and less and less, they end up in a courtroom. So, every word description has a signature upon it. It is your word. Now, if it is a lousy world that you are living in, it is you, the Brahma, who made that world lousy. If it is a happy world, you, the Brahma, can make it happy. You are the master of your destiny. You mold your own destiny. When you are making, you see, somebody said, yesterday night I dreamt, and in the dream I won 1,000 rupees. Then somebody else said, in dream you win, why 1,000 rupees? You should have won 10,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees. So like that, well, if it is your world, you make it, then why not make it more beautiful than what it is? Go ahead and make it more beautiful. You need not wait for somebody else to give permission to you. You can go ahead and make it beautiful. No, some planet is intervening. You imagine, I tell you. You imagine. No planet will intervene. No, planets have their effect on me or not. They have their effect on everything, not only on you. Like the moon attracts the oceans. That's why there is high tide and low tide. Because of which the life cycle itself has an impact. It gets impacted. They do impact this way. Like the earth rotates around the sun, making day and night, morning and evening. And that impacts our lives. Our lives are determined by that cycle. So they do have an impact. No, I purchased a lottery ticket. That it won't impact. No moon will impact it, no Shani will impact it. That is your lookout. Therefore, you come out of all these superstitions and try to understand that the world that you are living in it has its origin in you. It has its origin in you. This is the biggest understanding. This is Vedanta. You are the Tattvavidananda means this. The God created this world. Immediately Shruti says Tattvavidananda. You are that God. The God sustains the world. Tattvavidananda. The God annihilates. Tattvavidananda. The God created adharma. Tattvavidananda. The God created ugliness, Tattvavidananda. You are that God. So like even gold creates ornaments out of it. An example. Clay creates pots and other cups, etc. out of it. Water creates waves, etc. out of itself. That is how you create this world in which you are living out of yourself. You see, this is not even difficult to understand. There is gold. Who created the world of ornaments? Human mind, human consciousness created it. And where is that human consciousness? You, in you. No, it was created 1,000 years back. 1,000 years history is in you. You uphold in you 1,000 years history. Why 1,000 years history? Million years history also you uphold in you. Otherwise, so just by looking at your DNA, you can map the entire evolution of the humankind. It is upheld in you. For example, a language takes 10,000 years to develop, and all that is in you. Therefore, you are, like gold is the source of all ornaments. Ornaments were created by whom? By human mind. Habitations created by whom? By human mind. Bhagavan did not create anything. You created all of it. You see, there is a description, certain things created by God and certain other things created by Jiva. That kind of a description is there. I am aware of it. It comes from Panchadashi, 4th chapter or so. That is a model to help the Jiva, the individual, come out of his mischief, come out of the wrong creation. You create the wrong things and suffer from those wrong things. Who created the casinos? Human mind created. Who suffers from the casino? Human beings suffer. Who created wars and battles, terrorism? Human mind. You can create peace. You can create anything you want because the world has its origin in you. You see, what you call Prithvi is consciousness. There is no matter. Only consciousness appears as matter. There is no matter independent of consciousness. Consciousness alone appears as matter. And therefore, where is that consciousness which appears as matter? Where is it? In you. You. That is the meaning of Tattvavidananda. So Tattvavidananda, you know it now or you don't know it at all. Because Tattvavidananda it is present tense, not Tattvam Bhavishyasi. It is not that. Similarly, Aham Brahmasmi, not Aham Brahma Bhavishyami. Therefore, it is the human consciousness which creates everything. I told you, the entire matter is a creation of consciousness. The consciousness alone appears as matter. Like in a movie, it is not even difficult to understand. Because in a movie, the light alone appears as mountain. What you call mountain, the light appears as mountain. How light can appear as mountain? Light is electromagnetic waves, whereas mountain is matter, solid stuff. How energy in the form of electromagnetic radiation can become the matter. Don't you know energy and matter are one and the same? This may not be the right example for that, but the light alone appears as matter. The light. That is the outer example. That is only an example. Whereas the inner light of awareness appears as this world, including the inanimate world. So everything emerges from that awareness. Ramana Maharshi gave a model, very beautiful model. You wake up and then the primordial sense of being, namely I am, it emerges. And then it starts spinning. I am spins. It is like when a globe, the glow of an incense stick, it spins, circles, squares, rectangles, and all physical forms can come out of that glow. It will be spinning. And as it spins, you can have any form emerge out of it. Like in a laser show, they can even show a huge battle in a battlefield between two armies. The simple laser light spinning and creating all that. Similarly, the sense of I am, the sense of being, very primordial, because everything else comes after I am. And everything else ends into I am. The I am is spinning. When I am is spinning, wife, children, home, career, bank balance, and then friends, foes, my religion, other religion, my caste, the other caste, my parampara, somebody else's parampara. The I am is spinning and creating all these things. Don't you see that? I see it clearly as daylight. For example, I sit here and the I am is spinning, parampara came. Now where from parampara came? From there it came? No, it came from this inner spin. Oh, my children, came from the inner spin. Everything comes from that spin. I am spins and creates an entire world. And therefore, you are the creator. You have to understand this. Once you understand, even if not the entire thing, the way I am describing, at least a hint of it, an intimation of it, that I am the creator. If you get that bit of it, then you see, in a relationship, you see strife. And then you know that you are the creator. So immediately you will question yourself, why am I creating this strife? Why not create harmony? Then you create harmony. You end up creating harmony. So when you find something ugly, then you question yourself, why am I creating ugly? Why not create the beautiful? Then you stop creating the ugly and start creating the beautiful. You can prove it to yourself. In every step you can prove it to yourself. You can create what you want. That is what you have been doing all along. You see, people are, you please understand, people are almost like accustomed to sorrow. Therefore they create sorrow. Suppose somebody is dead. You start spinning inside, oh, that somebody, without that somebody I cannot live. So you bring out an enormous burden of psychological dependence upon the other guy and create sorrow for yourself. And then the sorrow is never continuous. It is always broken. Like you are very sorrowful and then somebody puts a nice cup of coffee in your hands. You start sipping it. Then the sorrow has to wait outside. It is gone. You have pushed it aside and invited the cup of coffee. And now the cup of coffee is over, you pull back the sorrow, you invite the sorrow back and start to feel the sorrow again. People become sorrowful by habit. By habit they become sorrowful. Somebody is no more. Then they asked me, are you sorrowful? I said, no, I am not sorrowful. Why? Good that somebody is no more. Because if somebody is suffering, lived enough, there is nothing more to live for, The body is disintegrating and disintegrated. Good that the suffering came to an end. I am not sorrowful. In fact, I am happy. That's why sometimes when some phone call comes, etc., I am a bit afraid, One day I got a phone call. Swamiji, do you know this? No, I don't know. That person is no more. Okay, Shubham. I said that. Then what the other people will think? What they will think? Then Swamiji, did you hear me properly? Then I got my mistake. No, I did not hear you properly. Say again. No, such and such person, yeah, is he doing all right? I thought so. No, he's not doing all right. What happened? He's gone. Ayyo? So you have to retrace your steps. So, toba karke. Otherwise, very sorrow. There is sorrow. You believe there is sorrow, therefore there is sorrow. You understand correctly that you are creating sorrow, there is no sorrow. You can create harmony instead of conflict. You can create harmony. Somebody tried a conflict with me. I said, no, I am not supporting you. Not only that, I convert your conflict into harmony. And therefore the whole blessed thing turned into harmony. You can do that. A very practical thing it is. This is not some armchair philosophy. It is very practical. And the world that you live in, you have to understand, it is not real. It's a shadow. When you see a shadow, who creates the shadow? You create the shadow. You create the shadow. And the world is a show, and you are the showmaster. The world is a show. Very glittering and empty. It is, the world is, by your consent. By your consent it is. The stock market is, because you have given consent to it. You ask me, yes, Swami, is there any stock market? I said, it doesn't exist. Because I refuse to consent. Therefore it doesn't exist. So, there is conflict because you have consented to it. You ask me, is there a conflict, Swami? I said, no, there is no conflict. Why? Because I don't give consent to the conflict. So, therefore, you have a right, you have the authority to be what you want to be. Therefore, the world is by your consent, and if you know better, the world is not. You alone are. Gold alone is. Ornaments are not. Therefore, as long as you want to see the world and take part in it, you find the world as though existing there. And you see, this they play a game with cards, and they put a stake also there, some money and all that. So that is very absorbing for those people who think it is real and who think it is important. For others who think it is silly, it is all myth and it is not important, and they don't take part in it. It doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. So, therefore, that is what the verses say. You see, this is the statement. These are the very powerful statements which people have to learn, to look into. There is no world without your imagination. You have to imagine. Then only there is a world. Without your imagination, there is no world. You have to imagine things. And so you have to imagine and imagine and imagine, make it continuous. You have to stop imagining, it comes to an end. Everything is like that. Everything is like that. So you have to imagine. You see, a young man, he had a fancy for sannyasa. And so he imagined, this is his imagination. He started doing sannyasa, like that. A lot of glory around it, this, that, so much fancy, he imagined. He did not be a young man, it could be a middle-aged person also. It is not about age, it is about imagination. And then the imagination works wonders, So he takes a train to Dehradun and gets down in Haridwar and finds a few Swamis around who are willing to make them sannyasis. So like the barber gives a hairstyle, they are just waiting for the customer. Similarly, there are ashrams where sannyasa is given like that. Whatever condition you have to fulfill, you can. What is the big deal? And then he became a sannyasi. And then, so the sannyasa imagination is going on and on and on and on. Then suddenly he came across a young girl or a lady, and he felt life is much more enjoyable in the company of that young girl. And this sannyasa thing is coming in the way. That is what he imagined. Nobody in Haridwar, nobody stops you, comes and nobody will do anything. It's a democratic country. So now he started imagining in a different way. Imagining. He took that girl to Delhi and got married to her and put on a different set of clothing. That imagination ended and new imagination started. And this went on and on and on. And after 3 years he divorced her. All imagination. Just I gave you a dramatic example to make a point. A dramatic example to make a point. It can apply equally well to the silliest of events also. A very silly, not worth mentioning event also is a product of your imagination. What you call marriage is but your imagination. What you call family life, you like to imagine like that. That is what called family life. We Swamis, we have our own set of imaginations. My ashram, my sishyas, I am the guru, etc., etc. All imagination. There is no truth in any of that. Therefore, without imagination, there is no world. You know what is the word? What is the word? Your conviction that you are conscious of a world is the world. You see, once I went to see a movie, a tragedy. What a movie it is. Very beautiful movie. What a tragedy. There are tears in the eyes. Wonderful, wonderful movie. This is and that. Now, what is all that? What is all that? My imagination. And that imagination, I give a name to it. The name is the play on the stage, or the movie on the screen, or an event outside. Whatever name you want to give, you can give. Therefore, your conviction that you are conscious of a world outside is the world. That is the world. Your conviction that such and such an individual is your enemy or your adversary, that is the enemy. Your conviction that he is the adversary is the adversary. That's it. You have to think about it. The world that you perceive is made up of consciousness. You see, you never perceive a world. You imagine that you perceive a world. You never perceive a world. Like I never touch the table. I never touch the table. When the hand is going near the table, even when I believe that I am touching it, there is a clear, measurable, thin layer of air between the table and the hand. that layer of air is pressed by the hand against the table, and the table is pressing back on that layer of air, and the layer of air is pressing back on the hand, and that pressing back, what they call van der Waals forces, those van der Waals forces acting in the opposite direction, they give a sensation of hardness or softness, cold, hard, that sensation. And that sensation I perceive and say it is cold. It is not cold, the sensation is cold. That is hard. That is not hard, the sensation is hard. I perceive only sensation. Similarly with eyesight, I perceive only what falls on the retina and creates the optical sensation. Optical sensation alone I perceive. Sugar is not sweet. What you sense when the sugar is put on the tongue is sweet. Sugar is not sweet. Suppose sugar is sitting here, is it sweet? It is not sweet. It is not sweet. It is C6H12O6. It is not sweet. Okay? It is not sweet. Glucose it is. I am telling about glucose, not sugar. You have to double it for sugar. So that is what it is. It is not sweet. You put on the nose, it is not sweet. You put on your head, it is not sweet. You put on the tongue, it is sweet. The tongue creates the sensations. Some hydrogen bond, this and that. And those sensations are perceived by the center inside the head as the sweetness. Therefore, you never see the world. You never touch the world. You never see the world. You never taste it. You never smell it. Use the word smell correctly. And so you always sense, you always perceive your own sensations. And having perceived these multiple means millions and millions of them, having perceived those sensations, the brain, it receives those sensations and makes a transformation. This transformation is imitated in the machines outside also. What you get, ECG, etc., you get a spike, That spike, ECG, so many other machines, the graphs you get, a spike. The spike is the integrated result of millions of sensations. The heart will be sending millions and millions of sensations through the electrode, 6 or 8 of them they put. All of them are integrated, and out of that integration comes a spike. Therefore, the spike is what you read. Similarly, there is a spike inside these sensations. There is a spike. Something goes into the nose, the olfactory sensations happen, there is a spike. The name of the spike is rose. Rose is not outside, rose is in your head. Friend is not outside in your head. Foe is not outside in your head. Gain is in your head. Loss is in your head. Conflict is in your head. Harmony you can create out of yourself. Therefore, that is what the world is. You create the world. So, the world you perceive is made up of consciousness. What you call matter is consciousness itself. Then the world moves. The world is a phenomenal world, It moves. It moves in your space. The space is inside your mind. Space is a mental category. The world moves in your time. Time is a mental category. So, therefore, it is something like, so I went to a movie and I saw the ocean. Now, ocean needs ocean space, right? You cannot have ocean without ocean space. There is ocean space containing the ocean. And the ocean space is on the screen. Right? Now, ocean space is on the screen or ocean space is in your head? In your head, not on the screen. I said first level only. It looks like the ocean space is on the screen. It appears like that. But the fact is, the ocean space is in your head. When you see a picture, this is called, there is a name for it, these paintings from Europe. So, impressionist painting, impressionist. Okay? You go near, it is all jumble, you don't see anything. Impressionist, all patchy it will be. Go a few feet back, you see the most beautiful garden there. The most beautiful garden, you don't have it there. You have some patchy thing it is, the colored patches. The most beautiful garden, it appears in your head. It is an elaborate trick played by the eyesight and the mind together. That is the trick. And the artist knows it. And so he exploits that trick to produce an impressionist painting. You must have seen some of it.
Melodies, really.
Yeah. So there are great painters of that kind. They know how the mind and the eyesight together work and create an illusion, create the appearance of a thing which doesn't exist. In fact, you see three-dimensional world there, a three-dimensional garden you see. There are no three dimensions there, there are only two dimensions. There is no space. The space of the garden is not there. The space of the garden is in your head. So all space is in you, all time is in you. And space and time, the problem, there is only one problem. If you are incredulous, in case you find it hard to appreciate what is being said, the only reason is, the only obstacle could be that you identify with the body. That is the only obstacle. If you stop identifying with the body, just stop identifying with the body, immediately you will understand that you are the cradle that upholds the entire universe. I give you an example, how it works, an example. You sit upright, you need not do it now, just I'm demonstrating. I sit upright and look at myself and bring out a question. Suppose I am not the body. Suppose I am not the body. Then the family, the relations, the possessions, the home, the property, the fields, and the bank accounts, the securities, the social status, the name and fame in the society, etc., all become irrelevant, inconsequential. They all become worthless. I mean, they don't have any meaning anymore. The birth, the death, nothing has any meaning anymore. Therefore, all of that is upheld by you in your imagination of being a body. Unless you make that fundamental original sin, unless Adam and Eve make the original sin, there is no humankind. That is the Christian mysticism. So, therefore, unless you make that imagination and identify with the body, that is the original sin, unless you do that, you don't have a world. You don't have a world. That's why children, they don't have a world. They have life, they have awareness, but they have no world. They cry when they are hungry, they sleep when they get sleep, the rest of the time they are happy. They are quiet and happy. Because they don't have a world. Why? Because the mind has not yet started imagining or projecting. Therefore, what you call the world, you do one thing. You cut off your imagination, Stop imagining. And one more thing, you cut off attachment also. Because attachment makes you believe that the things to which you are attached are real. Like for example, you try to give me a diamond worth of $1 million and see what happens. I will throw it aside and go my way. Why? Because it is carbon. It is carbon. Take a diamond and put in a vessel, a transparent vessel, and heat it. Then slowly you will be left with carbon dioxide inside the vessel. That is what it is. You just call it diamond. It is not diamond. And you ask any student of chemistry, diamond is an allotropic form of carbon. Nothing more. You call it diamond. You say Bhagavan Vishnu wears it in his neck. Can you believe it? The imagination, it runs a riot. And then something more, something more, something more. Therefore an entire world of ornaments is put in place out of imagination of the human being. Therefore you cut off your imagination. Try this. Cut off your imagination and cut off attachment and see what remains. You alone will be remaining. You are left. You are the Sheshaha. You are the reminder. Nothing else will remain. The world won't remain. Therefore, what you call the world, it has its origin in you. That is the verse. Let us say that verse word by word. Vishwam, the word, Vaktaha, from myself, Vinirgatam, has sprung up. Spring sprung, right? Spring sprung? I have used it like that. Mayi eva, in myself alone, layam, annihilation, or resolution, Ashyati, will get. So, the ornament comes out of gold and the ornament resolves in gold. Okay? Same way, in the case of ornament, you have to provide a crucible to heat and a furnace. And put the ornament in the crucible and put inside the furnace for 5 minutes, like we put milk in the microwave oven, and pull out the crucible. The ornament is gone, gold remains. Okay? So the ornament has come out of gold and it has gone back into gold. Okay? Now you sit and cut off your imagination and attachment. That is the crucible. That is the furnace. That's why jnanam, knowledge, is compared with fire. That is the furnace of knowledge. Knowledge is like a furnace. When you put gold into the fire of knowledge, when you put an ornament into the fire of knowledge, you will get out gold. You need not put it in the actual furnace. The actual furnace is only an example. You need not put the necklace, you can leave it there. You put it in the fire of knowledge and then gold comes out of it. Means you put a necklace before an intelligent person who knows the truth, he looks at it as gold. You need not go here and there. The jeweler himself knows it as gold. Only the counter, the other side, they look at it as gold. This side only people look at it as ornament. If you look at it as gold, you can as well be on the other side. You see, if the necklace is so beautiful, why don't he keep it? It is not beautiful. Ornament is not beautiful for him. In fact, he doesn't look at it as ornament. He looks at it as gold. And for him, something else is beautiful. For you, the ornament is beautiful. For him, something else is beautiful. Neither the ornament is beautiful, nor that something else is beautiful. Only you are beautiful. Your awareness is beautiful. Nothing else is beautiful. So, the universe, it comes out of myself and it merges back in myself. It sounds philosophical, what I am discussing. It sounds philosophical. I assure you, it is not philosophical. It is the bare, simple truth. It is the day-to-day fact of life it is. It is not philosophical. You may call it philosophy if you wish, but the philosophy is what? Love for knowledge. Philo is love, Sophie is knowledge. Somebody objected to my usage of the word philosophy. I said, go and sit on the tree. Because the word philosophy is used by great philosophers all around the world. The History of Philosophy by Louis Duran, one of the greatest books on philosophy. Therefore, so this sounds philosophical. You can call it philosophy, but it is love for the truth, love for knowledge. And so, it is the simple truth it is, the basic truth it is. Truth is always simple. Truth is simple. You believe me, anybody presents a complex picture, it is unreal. Anybody tells the simplest thing, that is the truth. Suppose I say, Vishnu was sleeping, and then suddenly he woke up and found himself sleeping on the coil of a serpent, the coiled serpent, and all around there is the Milky Ocean. Milky Ocean क्या होता है? Milky Way galaxy हो सकता है. And then he feels that there must be some creation. And so immediately there is a lotus from his navel. Navel nabhi. Nabha eva nabhi. The space is navel. Navel is space only, you know, the space. So in Sanskrit, the navel is called nabhi, the space is called nabha. Just a twist, just to hide the thing. Nabha eva nabhi. The space alone is presented as nabhi. Then a lotus. Lotus is the earth. Lotus is the earth. And Brahma, the human being is the Brahma. That is the symbolism associated with it. You take that story literally and believe it. And so such beliefs become a conditioning, and then it becomes difficult to imagine that you are the creator. Because all life you have put creator somewhere else with 4 heads. Somewhere. 4 heads stand for 4 Vedas. 4 Vedas stand for the speech. The speech has its origin in the mind. Mind is a movement in consciousness. That is the Vishnu. The human consciousness is the Vishnu. The movement is Brahmadeva. Speech is the word. And the meaning of the word is the creation. बस इतना ही बात है. Therefore, this universe emerges out of me and goes back into me. It is very profound statement which can alter your life, provided you put your heart in it, your heart and mind in it. So, what all is around me, the world, the so-called world, I am creating it. Once it gets into your heart, you can change that world. You stop creating the ugly and bring out the harmony and go on creating the beautiful world. Okay? Yatha imuchve. So you may ask the question, how? The answer, yatha imuchve. Kumbha the pot, mrudi in the clay, vichihi the wave, Jale, in water. Katakam, the armlet. Kanake, in the gold. In the same way, the world, it is created in me, created by me, abides in me, and resolves in me. Matto vinirgatam vishvam mayyeva layameshyati mriti kumbho jale vichihi kanake katakam yatha. See, I am struggling to impress upon you not to look at this description as some philosophical discourse. It is philosophical discourse, all right. But it is a lot more than that. It is you and it is yourself. Because it is Ashtavakra Gita. A lot of background preparation, this and that is not done. It is directly, the truth is told in the simplest possible terms. You are ready for all that, I suppose. I may not teach this kind of a text to some young people who don't know anything, who just pass some BA or whatever. I may not teach this text to them. I may teach some grammar and Sanskrit, Kalidasa, etc. I may teach to them. And keep them going for a few years. But you are all very evolved people, you have seen life. That is your qualification. You have known life. And you have surmounted the obstacles of life and arrived here. You are the cream of the society from India. And therefore it was some punyam in me that I could manage to land here. Really. I almost gave up. Why almost? Because I did not stop the small effort that people started making to pull me here. I did not stop it. I thought of stopping it. So, but people pushed it and I did not stop it. Therefore, I ended up here. Therefore, so you are very evolved people. And so you should look into all this. You should look into, I look at myself and what type of world I am creating. I am the creator. So you are the creator, you are the Brahma, you are the Vishnu, you are the Rudra. You have to know that. So once you know that, then what is left now? Next verse. Aho aham namo mahyam vinasho yasya nasti me brahmadistamba paryantam jagannashepi tishtataha. Aho aham, lo behold, I am. You see my glory. Because I create, I sustain, I resolve, I take back into myself. And I am not going to die. There is no death for me. There is only the death for the world that I create. There is no death for gold. There is death only for the variety of ornaments. Gold never dies. Gold will always be there. You see, when you wear an ornament, it loses some of the weight. That means because of the friction, some of the gold is falling off. That is what it means. And it will be around. It will be around. It will not go anywhere. It will be around. Therefore, there is no death for gold. Only ornaments die. Therefore, the world that I create may end, but I don't end. The world that I create consists of this body, the world, the other world, and the creator. Who created that creator? I created. Creator is Brahma, I am the Vishnu. That is the beauty of it. Vishnu did not create this world, Brahma created. So, Brahma is the mind and Vishnu is the consciousness. Therefore, mind creates, mind stops creating, mind resolves. In both cases, I remain, Vishnu remains. I am that Vishnu. And therefore, I prostrate unto myself. What a glory I have. I prostrate unto myself, Namo Mahyam. I am not going to die. There is no death for me. The entire universe, beginning with Creator till up to a blade of grass. Stamba is a blade of grass. Creator, the Brahmadeva, up to the blade of grass. All of it will vanish, but I remain. I am not going to die. That is my glory. That is the verse. The glory of the self is further described in very similar verses, 2 or 3 more verses. So that concludes the 1 week study session of self-inquiry, of self-glory of the self. So, Om Poornamadaha, 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 There are another 2-3 verses of similar nature. Please go through them.